What's good, my beautiful kings and queens? It's Wini to your favorite British locked YouTuber. I hope you're all doing exceptionally well, just like I am. Now, today's video, I haven't really planned what I'm gonna say, so I don't know how many points I will make, but literally over the past couple weeks I've been receiving various messages on my social media in regards to those of you that are thinking about locking up, or those of you that are a couple months deep into your lock journey as to what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and whatnot. So this video isn't even a lock Q&A, but I'm just literally gonna be freestyling my thoughts in regards to things that I think that you should consider, or maybe things that you shouldn't do before you lock up, or just at the beginning stages of your lock journey. I also want to put out a disclaimer. I do want to make it clear that I'm not an expert. Literally anything that I say in regards to my lock videos are just my experiences, my thoughts. Having locks, you will find it is a journey, a continuous journey, where you will learn various things about yourself and various things about your hair. So literally that's all it is. I'm not an expert. I'm just a lady that's had locks for over 7 years and basically just wants to share my journey and my thoughts and so forth with you guys. The beginning, you think you want to lock up. You need to think about the reason as to why you want to lock up. And for those of you, that might sound a little bit silly, but I find that there has been times when somebody has told me that they want to lock up, and I'm like, okay, cool, you want to lock up. Why do you want to lock up though? Oh, because my favorite rapper has locks. Oh, that girl I fancy has locks, and I know that she's only into guys that have locks, so you know, if I lock up, then I'm in with a chance. Things like that for me is not really a good reason to have locks. Now the reason why I say that is because as much as people want to say locks is just hair, to me it's really not. I find that locks heightens your spiritual journey. That's just my personal opinion and my personal experience. I feel like since having locks, it's really helped me to be in touch with myself, and it's also helped me to basically be in touch with my surroundings a lot more. So wanting locks because your favorite rapper has it, or because somebody that you fancy, you think they're gonna like you more because you now have locks, for me is not a good excuse. And at the end of the day, if you want locks, I think you need to have a solid reason, because that reason will help you commit to your lock journey. I also think that it's very important to some extent to think about how it will affect you having locks. And what I mean by that is, as much as people don't want to talk about this, if you know that, for example, you are working in a specific field where you basically growing your hair in locks will result to you being fired, or result to you being out of work for a very long time, you may want to reconsider having locks, because it may affect you financially. And for example, maybe if you have a family that you need to support and stuff, maybe having locks may not necessarily work out in regards to your lifestyle. Also, things to think about is the method in which you want to lock up. Now there are different methods, probably methods that I am not aware of, but for now I'm going to talk about the coil method. I'm going to talk about 2-strand twist method, and the method that I use for my own locks, which is having it in plaits. Now I realize that sometimes when I say having it in plaits, because I am from the UK, maybe there's certain terminologies that I may use that you may not be from the UK, so you're like, huh, what does she mean by that? Plaits, 3-strand twists, or I'm going to say braids, but obviously braiding your natural hair, you know, 3 sections of your hair and you put it in braids or plaits. That's basically how I started my locks. Just kind of do your research into what methods are out there for you in regards to you locking up, and try to work out which is basically, or which method you think is going to be the best for you. I have been seeing some really random videos on Instagram lately of people that can do a method. I don't know what the method is, but the method basically makes it appear like your lock has immediately locked up. It's really weird. So it's like loose naturals go into, let's just say, a hair salon, and then the loctician or whoever, the hairstylist, does something, and I never see, like, it's never shown what the method is, but by the time they're finished, it looks like the person has had locks, like mature locks, for years. Now, as much as that looks aesthetically pleasing, and I don't really know too much about the whole method and stuff, I'm personally not really down with that, because it's like, how much, what's the word? How much have you basically, how much friction or what force basically have you used in order to get your hair to automatically look like locks. The whole thing about locks and your lock journey is for you to be growing with your hair and for you to actually experience the whole matting process slowly but surely. So if you can basically get instant locks just by going to a hair salon, you need to kind of think about, I don't know why the word can't come to mind, but if it does come to mind when I'm editing, I'll put it up on the screen. But you need to think about the amount, I'm gonna just say force, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. You need to think about the amount of force, or that's not the word, it's really gonna bug me, that manipulation, that's it. You need to think about the amount of manipulation that has been used in order to have your loose hair automatically looking like locks. And also, if you do get that done, although that is cutting corners, which it really is in my opinion, that's literally going through to the fast lane. It means that you basically skip the actual journey, and I do feel like the actual journey is very important. Right, another thing to consider basically is, you know, you've now got your plaits or so, or your locks, I'm gonna say installed, we'll use the word installed for now. But going forward, when you get new growth, how are you going to maintain your new growth? Are you going to interlock your hair? Are you going to retwist? There probably is another method, but I'm going to focus on those two for now. You know, and you know, people interlock, for example, for different reasons. Maybe like myself, you had exceptionally soft hair that, you know, struggle to basically lock up, or maybe if after retwist it doesn't hold well because you are very sporty and whatnot, then you may want to go for the interlocking method. Or you may just want to go for the retwisting method because you find out retwisting may be easier, maybe may cost less if you are getting it done at a hair salon or so. Or you may just find that, I don't know, retwisting equals to less friction or whatnot. People do either of the two for different reasons. Now, if you haven't watched my video in regards to how I basically started my lock journey, I started, well, not at the beginning, but after I had my plaits and after about, I think about 2 or 3 months, I started interlocking my hair. And then literally it was about, I think maybe around 2016, I stopped interlocking and now I just retwist. Now the difference that I find between the two for my personal hair is, with interlocking, I feel like a lot of force is used, and obviously the force kind of is dependent on who's doing it, I guess. When I was interlocking it, at first it was my girl that was doing it for me, and she did it really well. There wasn't any, you know, force friction. She wouldn't do it overly tightly or anything like that. But if, let's just say, you're going to a hair salon, for example, I have noticed that a lot of people that do go to hair salons and get their hair interlocked, whoever is interlocking their hair is using a lot of force and is doing it exceptionally tightly, which will result into what? Thin roots, and eventually your locks being damaged, for example. Now with retwisting, personally for me, when I was interlocking my hair, it would take me a very long time, like about anything between 4 to 5.5 hours to interlock my whole head. With retwisting, for me, retwisting is much quicker. Literally, I can do my whole head in about an hour and a half. I also find that less force is used. I will say this though, I do find that with retwisting it doesn't last as long. Like, my locks do not hold as long as interlocking did. However, I do feel that with retwisting, and because I don't retwist as much nowadays, this is like 2 months of growth right about now, and I'm in 2 minds on whether or not I want to retwist anytime soon. But I do find that with retwisting, it basically has helped my roots to become thicker, and I just feel like it's less force just used on my hair overall. I personally feel like retwisting is a much healthier alternative to interlocking, obviously, but at the same time, maybe at the beginning stages and depending on your hair texture, you may want to start off via interlocking, because interlocking will give you a longer hold. However, whatever method that you pick, make sure it is being done properly by whoever's going to be doing it, because if it's not done properly, your locks will be damaged, your roots will be damaged, your locks will thin out, your edges, what edges. And also, on that note, it is very important that when you are getting your locks done, it shouldn't be done tightly. I can't emphasize this enough. If you get your locks done tightly, if you get your locks done to the extent where there's not even a single grain out of place, if your locks are not going to be damaged now, later on down the line, it will catch up with you. I don't know why as a community we are so obsessed with our locks looking exceptionally neat, to the extent where I can see that every single strand of your baby hairs has been dragged into that lock, pulled back and styled. Lock styling is another thing. Styling your locks, absolutely gorgeous, looks amazing, looks aesthetically pleasing, but I see a lot of hairstyles that can be very damaging. Why? Because they're being done too tightly, your locks are being dragged back, all of your baby hairs are being pulled into that style, and it is not healthy. And I think that's partially why I did kind of get creative with styles a little bit earlier on this year, but I think for the rest of this year I'm just going to allow my locks to just breathe, because styling your hair too much and styling your hair too tightly will do what? It will damage your locks. Also, it's very important for you to make sure that you are sleeping in a satin scarf or satin bonnet at night. It basically seals in moisture as well as helps to reduce stuff getting in your hair whilst you're rolling around in your bed, lint, dust, amongst other things. On the same breath, I think I'm going kind of fast, but you know, I'm just trying to wrap up because I'm not trying to make this video 30 minutes. At the same time, one thing that I have learned, even though I did recently do a video on this, is lint is inevitable. Lint is all around us, it is everywhere. This t-shirt that I'm wearing, I'm pretty sure, yep, I can see, you know, lint pieces on it. Lint is everywhere. There is a chance that there will be lint getting caught up in your locks. There's a difference between lint and build-up though. Build-up is obviously excessive use of products, and when I say products, kind of creamy products, pomades and stuff. Shea butter, probably a lot of people use shea butter for their hair, and it probably is great, but if something is quite thick, I tend to be very cautious about using it in my hair because it will cause build-up. So you know, stuff like hair gels, wax and stuff, I'm not a big fan of the idea of using that in your locks because it can equal to build-up. So build-up is the use of products, and these products get caught in your locks and then just end up looking very nasty when it gets trapped in your locks. Lint, on the other hand, is basically all around us. It's in the air, it's the little dust particles falling around, the jumper, the t-shirt, the clothes that you wear, little fabrics from that when you're out and about gets caught up in your locks. And unfortunately, I have learned that when you have locks, I personally think it is impossible for you to completely avoid lint. There are ways for you to avoid it. For example, if you always have your hair wrapped up, you know, then maybe that's a great way for you to avoid it. Or if you know you're going to be in a dusty area and you keep your hair wrapped up, that's a great way to avoid it. Obviously, covering your locks at night is a fantastic way to do so. Some people go as far as to get in special kind of towels, so like, is it microfiber towels, or basically towels that don't contain any lint, so that when you wash your hair and you're using a towel, no lint gets into your hair. However, will you completely be able to avoid it? The answer is no. And as much as it irritates me saying that, I've come to terms with it now. If lint is going to be a problem for you, you have the option to dye your locks. Do not pick it out. Don't pick out lint or, you know, products build up and stuff for your hair. Don't do so, because you end up damaging your locks and it's not worth it. If lint is a problem for you, you can dye your hair. Seek healthy alternatives when it comes to dyeing your hair, and simply dye your hair whatever the color is. So obviously my natural hair is actually dark brown, but you know, on camera it looks deep black. So whatever it is, what it is. If I wanted to get my lint covered, I will probably even get jet black. I've dyed my hair jet black in the past. Cover it. You don't need to dye your hair on a regular basis. Even if you do it like once a year, once every 2 years, that's all good. But that is if it is a problem for you. People have actually advised me that using a brush, a soft, gentle bristle brush, to basically brush your hair, not like vigorously, but just arounding it, using, whoa, trust me to drop it, using something like this is advisable. I'm not gonna lie, I did, and I have done it a couple of times, but then I kind of thought about it, and it's like, I think even that is damaging to some extent, because the whole thing is your hair is locked up and you're brushing it. Whether you're brushing it hard, whether you're brushing it soft, you're still brushing your locks. So again, some form of damage. So for now, I don't think I will continue with the whole brushing my locks in order to remove lint. It is what it is. If you see lint in my hair, it is what it is. It's not gonna kill me, you're not gonna die. Another thing that I will say in regards to build up, you know, oils, I think it is very important for you to use oils in your hair. When people ask me what do you think I should use in my locks, I will always say oils. Research on the various oils that are out there. There's so many oils out there, I can't say every single one, but there's coconut, there's avocado, there's olive, there's peppermint, there's castor, there's almonds, there's grapeseed. Research on various oils. At the beginning of your lock journey, this is the opportunity for you to work out which oil works best for you, so do that. I would strongly advise to stay away from hair gels, stay away from pomades, stay away from edge controls, stay away from, you know, just any kind of thick cream, and just keep things light. I use coconut oil. Coconut is the best that worked out for me. Many people use stuff like castor oil. Castor oil doesn't work well for me. It is what it is. Use this opportunity to work out what will work best for your hair, but also please do keep in mind that less is more. There's no need for you to use 101 products when you have locks. I think when it comes to oils, unless you're going to, some people like to mix various oils and just spritz their hair, maximum should be 3 personally, but less is more when it comes to oils. In terms of shampoo, some people like to keep it natural and use stuff like black soap. Some people like to use things like Dr. Bronner's, but from my personal experience, a lot of products that say that they are for locks have been crap. That's just my personal thing. I personally like shampoos that lather up. So if, for example, in the past I have used Jamaican mango and lime, I think it was it their protein shampoo? I can't remember, but I have used Jamaican mango and lime shampoo. For me, that did smell amazing, smelled fantastic, didn't lather up. That was problematic for me because it's just my personal thing. I've already mentioned, don't tie your hair up tightly. Don't tie your hair up tightly. Don't do tight styles. If you're gonna style your hair, that's fine. Even then, I wouldn't say don't style your hair on a regular basis, because there's still some form of friction or something being put onto your hair. Even when your hair is styled, by the way, make sure that your hair is moisturized. You have locks, you can actually use water. In my spray bottle, this is water. So nowadays I do tend to use coconut oil and water. I basically use the coconut oil to grease my scalp. I'm gonna say grease, but you know, to grease my scalp, you know what I mean. And then I will put just a little bit of coconut oil on my actual lock, and just not too much, because again, putting too much oil and stuff in your actual locks can cause buildup. And then I'll just spritz it with predominantly water. That's what I do now. That's what works for my hair, and then we are good to go. Can you swim with locks? Yes, you can. Many people swim with locks. I can't swim, so I can't really dive deep into that, but you can swim with locks. There are lock caps out there, lock swimming caps out there. I can't get my words out. There are lock swimming caps out there. eBay, Amazon, check it out. Your best friends, you will find it. Be very careful as to who's doing your hair. Make sure that the person that is doing your hair knows what they are doing. Very important. One thing that I will say, and it's ironic because I'm a YouTuber myself, but take advice and things that people say on YouTube with a pinch of salt. I think it's very important to also embrace your new growth, and what I mean by that is the actual new growth that is not necessarily inside your lock. When it comes to new growth, by the way, as well, I do believe there are 2 types. There are new growth people whose new growth comes out. Some people's growth grows, you know, directly with their lock. As you can see with mine, most of mine grow into my lock, but there are also parts that don't. Probably can't see on camera, but there are certain parts that grow away from my lock. So you will experience that. That is perfectly fine. If you are just a couple months into your lock journey, you will experience frizzing. Frizzing is perfectly fine. Quite a few people have messaged me worried that their hair is too frizzy. Is it because they're not doing too much to maintain it? You're maintaining your hair very well. Frizziness is normal. It's basically your hair saying to you, we're slowly matting up. Not all of us are matting up at the same time, but just, you know, bear with us. In due time, when the time is right for us, we will all mat together. It's normal. My hair took a very long time to stop frizzing, and Davina, who used to do my hair for me, can testify to that. I always used to moan to her like, oh my gosh, why is my hair so frizzy? Why is my hair unraveling so quickly? It's normal, yeah? I can honestly say anything between a couple months to a year. Some people's hair doesn't even fully mat until a year and a half. Everybody's hair types are different, everybody's lock journeys are different. But if your hair is frizzing up in the first couple of months of you being on your lock journey, trust me, I cannot emphasize this enough, it is normal. Your hair will mat up when the time is right. Don't use hair gels, don't use things that you shouldn't to try and have this kind of neat appearance, because it's just not gonna pan out well for your locks at all. Learn to embrace the frizz. I wish I'd learned to embrace the frizz instead of, you know, being so concerned about it. But embrace the frizz, embrace your new growth, and basically take people's advice. I know this is a bit of an advice video, but take people's advice with a pinch of salt, because sometimes people will give you advice that will just basically mess up your whole hair. So be very careful on your journey basically. And if you're thinking about locks and you haven't yet locked up, please take everything that I've said on board. Obviously, if you want, you can take it with a pinch of salt. For example, I said I don't think it's a good idea for you to go and get instant locks done. Maybe you think, well, I don't want to deal with frizzing along my journey, so you're gonna go for that quick approach. Do your thing. This is just my opinion. None of what I've said is a fact. Well, some of it is a fact, but make sure that you make the right decision based for you and based for your hair. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. A bit of a long one. I wasn't expecting for it to be this long, but yeah, there obviously is other tips that I can give, but I'm really not trying to make a 30-minute video out here. If you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, please, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you're notified every single time that I upload. And also, guys, can you please give me look video suggestions for I to do so that I can keep on putting out regular look videos. Okay, until my next video, you guys be good. See ya.